Welcome to the fish tank.
Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. This is part 7 of the DIY filter comparison. And last week's video had an a surprising result. A result I'm actually very happy about, but one that I wasn't really expecting. And that is, this filter here won out over the sump. I mean, aesthetically, and actually for a number of other reasons, I actually really love this filter. It works really well. But for a pure function and versatile and everything else, the sump or trickle filter is a much better filter. It just looks, as it did. Now, that said, like I said, I'm very happy that this came out ahead because it'll continue on. And I know this week here I was planning on putting it up against the two filters, one at a time, that had tied that 1 week, and then see how it progresses from there. But I got a couple comments suggesting other options. There are two filters I hadn't covered that I've done DIY builds for, one of which I don't have in the shop. I might be able to jury rig one, so I might do that next week. We'll see how that goes. But I do have the other one in the shop. Now, currently all my water pumps are running on projects. So I thought I'd do a little bit of a cheat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some old footage for it, and then we're going to go through all its stats and whatnot, and you guys can figure out whether this filter here, which actually looks really nice, can go up against another purely commercial filter, and that is the Diatom filter. Now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through its numbers this week. You guys are going to pick which one will win out against, which one of these filters you like the most. And then next week, if I can find the parts or at least the old footage for the DIY leak-proof canister filter, then we'll do that. If not, what I'll do instead is go on to the two that tied, and we'll finish that off. So let's get on to the stats for the Diatom filter. So up first for this filter is biological filter capacity, which it doesn't have any of. Now, I chose this particular footage for this because this is where I was having a bit of an algae problem in the 7-foot guppy tank, and I was using it as an algae filter. In other words, the unicellular algae, which is free floating in the water, would grow, and then I would put this on and filter it out and clean it, and then rinse and repeat. That was just the way of kind of making an algae filter that really wasn't an algae filter. With that in mind, this actually does have biological filter capacity. Well, mostly the algae does, and all I do is remove the algae, let the population build back up a bit, and then filter it out again, and so on and so forth. But from any kind of practical point of view, first off, actually it's kind of weird seeing this tank the way it is now, because if you saw the last few videos, or actually last Friday's video? Yeah, Friday's video. There's an awful lot more in this tank now. So anyway, biological filter capacity, this one pretty much it's zero. It doesn't have any. It's meant as an add-on filter, and it does what it does very well, but that is not for a biological filtration system. That is just simply something I was fooling around with. And I think after about 3 weeks, give or take a bit, it managed to end up cleaning out way too much of it, and that was the end of it. So we'll just give it a 0, and we'll move on to the next stat. Next up is mechanical filtration, and this is where this filter really shines. There really isn't any filter you can make, or actually probably buy for an aquarium anyway, that has a better filtration capacity than this filter here. It takes out absolutely everything, right down to single cell floating algae and ick and a few other things. It does not take out the prokaryotic cells, bacteria, but unless you're going to get into very specialized filters, this is the best there is. And I mean, I wish I could give it more than a 10 to tell you the truth. It is very, very good. I use it for all kinds of things, mostly just for clarifying tanks, like as an augment, obviously. It's not meant to be run on an aquarium any length of time. I know when I was doing the kind of a spoof on algae filters, I ran it probably consistently for, I think it was 3 or 4 weeks, but it's not meant to do that because you have to clean it so often. So I know with the scoring system I've given so far, 10's been the cap. I haven't gone below 10, or sorry, above 10 or below 0. So we're going to stick with that. And unfortunately, this poor filter only gets that, a 10. It is the best mechanical filter you can put on anything. It just is. There's, like I said, there's nothing that compares to it. But unfortunately, that's not going to help its all-around score very much, but that is what it is. Next up is cleaning, which also includes wear and tear. Now, you just saw me clean it. It actually is very easy to clean. That procedure I developed when I was using this as an impromptu algae filter. And it's very easy just to shake it out, fill it up, shake it out, and that's pretty much all you have to do. I think probably sometime in the next 6 months to a year, I'm going to have to undo the bolts and replace that membrane, and then probably also just give it a good clean on the inside. It won't take too long to do that, and then it's a simple matter of putting another bead of silicone on and screwing it all back together, and it'll be good to go for another few years. But it has to be cleaned often. If the tank is really dirty, this could actually plug up in a couple of hours, and then that's it. You have to clean it and then recharge it and go again. It is not meant to run continuously on anything, even though I've been doing that. It's just meant as a quick polishing of the water. Now, if the tank is not that dirty, you can run it for probably a couple of days before it actually gets to the point where it really won't run anymore, just kind of dripping out the other end. This tank here, to give you a comparison, I could charge it one day and let it run, and then the next day it'll still be coming out the other end. It'll probably be down to about 15 to 25% of what it was before, and then I would turn it off, and then because I was trying to do the balancing act with the algae, I would let it run, not run I should say, be off for a day or two, and then when I saw the cloud building up a little again, I would put it back on. But it never got to more than, like I said, it would run for the day. So anyway, I got to give this a number. So because of the frequency of cleaning required, I mean, it's not designed to, like I said, run continuously at all. I can't give it a high score, but I can't really give it a low score either, because it is actually really easy to do. And if you're not like trying to do stuff that I was trying to do, it will actually run for, it'll do its job. Then you take it off, clean it, and put it away. So I'll give this probably somewhere between a 7 and 8, I guess. Well, I don't want the score to be too low, so I'm going to give it an 8. There you go. Last up is commercial viability, and this is actually a commercial filter. This particular one here, I will take into clients, and I will hook it up on the tank. It's obviously unsightly and everything, but if they have an issue with that, I usually just go in like on a Friday late in the day and hook it up, get it charged, or get it running. And depending upon the tank, if it's something that's going to need more than one charge, I may arrange a way of getting in on a Saturday or a Sunday to do a second charging on it. And then obviously you'll come in like Monday morning and take it off. And it does a very good job. I mean, like I said, what it does is it does very well. So commercially, I mean, it's not a tank. I mean, that's the problem with this. I mean, it's not meant as a filter for filtering your aquarium, and then like you hook it up and you leave it there. It's not designed for that, so I can't really fault it for not being the kind of filter you leave on a tank. So commercially, it is very good. There's a bit of things you have to be careful about, of course, for looks and whatnot and timing and everything, which is kind of inconvenient. So I can't give it a 10 for that. But it is actually, I think, high enough to give it another 8. So there you go. That's scores for this filter. It turns out to be a fairly respectable 26, well, with a little bit of help. But the problem with this is it's not meant for continuous filtration. So it is not really in the same kind of category as all the other filters we've done so far. And with that in mind, it actually did pretty good. But that doesn't really matter, of course, because you guys are going to choose which one of these we'll move on to next week. And that will be between whichever wins here. And then if I can put together a leak-proof canister filter for that video, or find the footage for ones that I've done in the past, I'll do that. If not, we'll go on to the tie, and then we'll see from there. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you like the style of video, please like and or subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, and bye for now.